What's good, everybody? It's your boy Batman, and we're going to be doing a reaction video to what if Rock Lee could use ninjutsu. It's been a bit since we've done a reaction video, so we're going to check out SWAGKAGE's recent post. Basically, it's a very interesting topic, if I'm being honest. I know I've seen some YouTube channels that have talked about, like the craziest hacks combinations for any gate user, you know what I mean? Like hundreds heals of ceiling or whatever. I forgot what the fuck it's called. Mixed with the gates, that'd be insane. Like soccer with the gates, imagine. Or hit on. Imagine if he could use all fucking gates with his immortality. Like that shit would be insane. Like there's all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? Like all kinds of good topics that people have like talked about, or that I've even thought of. But then this topic is interesting. Like imagine if Rock Lee himself, one of the goats, okay, was able to utilize ninjutsu. Like that should be crazy. You know what I mean? So we're gonna get into it. We're going to see their thoughts, see their angles, what they're going to go on about, and let's have fun with it. Let's get it.
Hi everybody, SWAGKAGE here, and I brought two guests with me today.
What's up, Rec? Glad you're still here with us.
If you've been to the channel before, you probably know who both of them are.
In this video, y'all already know. What if Rock Lee could use ninjutsu? Like, what if he just wasn't only throwing hands? Like, what if it was like a fair game, and how would it go? So,
what if at the end of that fight, instead of the fifth gate kick, Lee just rammed the Chidori in the guard? What about that?
So, I mean, like, one thing with the video we weren't really sure is, okay, if he could use jutsu, do we just give him, like, cool jutsu?
I just ain't closed out yet. What you mean, Brooke?
Like, what do we go over, like, what you could learn? Like, headcanon?
Yeah, so this is a very vague question. It's extremely open-ended because, like, when we're talking about ninjutsu, that's, like, the most massive, like, field of different abilities in Naruto, right? It encompasses pretty much all of the relevant stuff. There's
okay, that's fine. I appreciate you.
So many of them work differently.
I was wondering why I still had 3 viewers.
Like which ones you choose to give him change things, like how he would fight or how he would perform in certain fights.
You're gonna be tired this morning.
You also have to ask, like, which ninjutsu would it make sense for Rock Lee to learn in the first place? I don't think that Lee would be pulling up on anybody.
To be honest, like out of all ninjutsus for him that would probably be the most beneficial, I would probably say Flying Raijin. Dead ass. You want to know why? Let's say he uses the gates and it doesn't work for him. He could just Flying Raijin out of there. You know what I mean? Like he could just basically leave. You're always tired, can never sleep. Girl, stop lying. You better get some sleep. Take some medicine. Like, I'm going to be tired. I'm always fucking tired if I'm being real with you. I always just want to sleep if I have to wake up. So, I feel you there. But no, hey, like, I'm going to tell you guys right now. Like, if Rock Lee had Flying Raijin, you know how crazy that would be? Altering time and space itself and just teleporting away from danger if the gates just don't work out. You know what I mean? Like, just gone, Or better yet, imagine, like, using Flying Raijin to a way where you could basically, whatever sleep is for the weak. Okay. But like that would be pretty crazy. I think that's like a really clutch ninjutsu to have, like just in case if the gates aren't enough. You know what I mean? Because the gates are like a double-edged sword. They give you crazy amount of power, but it fucks up your bones and muscles and everything, and you get extremely exhausted. You know what I mean? And you only have one freebie. The second gate is the only gate that replenishes all your energy and stamina, and then you get even stronger too. So that would be pretty crazy. I think Chidori would be insane. Rising Gun's very powerful, don't get me wrong, but I really think Chidori would fit more better for Rock Lee, because even if he doesn't have the Sharingan, that's fine, because obviously we know the Sharingan is needed to compensate with Chidori and utilize as a you know what I mean? But we never rest fucking dead. Okay, that's a little bit extreme. You both. But literally, like, the way I see it, Brooke, I'm being a nerd right now. I'm talking about Naruto. All my Naruto homies know what I'm talking about. By the way, I'm communicating with chat as well for my YouTube peeps that are going to watch this video. So basically, like, Chidori would be pretty crazy because, remember, the gates make you insanely fast. Crazy fast. Like, ridiculous level of speed, okay? We've seen like Rock Lee with the gates. We've seen how crazy powerful he is. We've seen some things in the war arc that he's done with the gates. Like, he's no joke. And so with him having Chidori, if he's way more faster than someone or able to outscale them due to the gates, giving you massive amount of power-ups, releasing your limiters, and basically, being to a point where you completely surpass whoever you're fighting, what's it called? Then at that point, basically you just move so quick they can't do anything and stab them with Chidori, dead. You know what I mean? Like, who cares about Taijutsu AP at that point? You got ninjutsu AP at that point and fucking a goddamn lightning spear in your hand and just fucking killed them, So that'd be pretty crazy. That's what I'm thinking so far. I could probably think of a couple other things, but I don't want to keep ranting and let the video play. So let's get into it.
Edo Tensei, for example, that doesn't seem particularly in character. I think that stuff like shadow clones, or as you guys saw in the thumbnail of the Rasengan, would kind of make sense for Lee, because he's like, when Kai and Kakashi talk about him during the tuning exams, and I mean, this is displayed multiple times, like organically through the series too, but they talk about him like he's an extreme...
Right? Like flying Raijin and Chidori, bro? That'd be clutch, because like he could escape whenever he needs to, instantly like pull up in someone's blind spot or from behind and just stab him dead, but yeah, even the gates alone would give him the speed he needs to just fuck somebody up with Chidori, and Chidori does make you faster to a certain extent. But like it'd be crazy, bro. It'd be absolutely insane. Now Shadow Clones, that's interesting. I don't really know how I feel about that. Like, I guess sure. Like, I could, imagine him using like about 10 or I don't know, fucking 5 Shadow Clones and they all just go into the gates. That'd be pretty fucking crazy, But like, and then again, that would actually be interesting, because if he does like a Shadow Clone and that Shadow Clone goes like all the way to the 5th or 6th gate and just whooping ass while the main user is not really going all out unless he has to, that's kind of smart, because then it kind of takes away from him having to deal with the handicaps of the gates. So it's like, it's smart, but at the same time it's weird, because the problem with Shadow Clones is that divides your chakra, you know what I mean? Like, and everything in your stamina, like it takes a big toll, So like, I don't know if that would either backfire or that would actually be beneficial, but it's interesting. That is interesting.
Extremely hard worker, right? Like he has an unnatural grit and dedication to training. So stuff like the Rasengan,
I feel you, yeah.
clones, which he could learn by just like brute force practice.
The Flying Raijin is just goaded to get out of jail free card, basically, or to most definitely conceal an opening or a hit, to land. And then the gates just, what the gates do, they just make you crazy strong. So, but yeah.
This would probably, I mean, the Rasengan's a little bit weird, because you do need precise chakra control to use it properly. But then Naruto figured out how to like cheat with it, so it's a little bit different. But like, I guess anything where he could just dump a ton of chakra into it, he would probably be able to perform.
I think one of the things that makes it hard for Lee to use jutsu, we learned this in Data Book 4, where it instead of like weird arbitrary stat bubbles, instead it's just like, okay, yeah, the stat idea was kind of dumb. Instead, here's their chakra natures instead. So with Lee,
that too, yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't think Shadow Clones would be good. I really don't think it would. It's interesting. Don't be wrong, and it could be beneficial with the pros. But I feel like there's more cons than the pros.
He actually has no chakra natures. So even in this video, like, to headcanon it, we don't even know what he could have learned anyway. Like, we can't be like, oh, maybe he learned a fire style or water. We don't know. Like, so everything is headcanon pretty much, except for just basic jutsu, like the escape jutsu or the doppelganger jutsu. But one thing I'll say about Lee that's kind of interesting is he actually does have chakra anyway. He just uses ninjutsu.
Yeah. And the whole basis of ninjutsu is utilizing your chakra to enforce ninjutsu. So the only difference is he just utilizes his chakra to embrace more in the taijutsu side of things and just make his body the physical weapon, instead of just embedding chakra and then just releasing fucking fire out of your goddamn mouth, or who knows what, or being Squirtle and shooting a goddamn water bubble at someone.
With him using the gates, which is amplifying his chakra. But the other thing that's interesting is he also walks on water. So not only does he have
chakra control,
but he actually does have somewhat of a precise
chakra control.
It's more precise than Naruto and Sasuke's in Land of Waves, at least at the beginning.
Go
Apparently walking on water is harder than walking on trees, which they like spent weeks on or whatever.
Goated scan. Yep.
This was after Sasuke was doing this like beyond Genin level jutsu too. That you know, like Kakashi
exactly.
was like, how did he use fire jutsu? That doesn't make sense for Genin. You know,
His chakra shouldn't have been developed enough or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
So what implied with Lee is that there's more so some weird property about his chakra that maybe makes it hard for him to control. Because whenever he stops Sasuke and the other Genin's kick at the beginning of the Chunin exam, Sasuke's like, but there's something like weird about the chakra in his arms. You can see it like highlighting his arms all the way through.
Yep.
Yeah, so
That's
I just
the
wanted to make
gates.
it clear, like, yeah, he always has had chakra, but it's more so like he doesn't have techniques to amplify his abilities, like in that sense. So a great example.
Boy, Ngara.
Before we started recording is obviously the body flicker technique. If you guys want, you can go into detail about that, but I think that's a huge deal.
Yeah, so body flicker is just what like everyone in Naruto asks to move at high speed. A lot of people are under the misconception that this is a like rare jutsu or like a specialty.
It's not. It's used so goddamn much. It's the Raikage specialty. Minato did it. Fucking a lot of characters did it. You know, Gaara. Fucking Shishui was literally known as, you know, Shishui the teleporter because he excelled in body flicker and used that shit 24/7 like the Raikage. The only difference is he wasn't doing it with a lightning cloak. He was doing it with just, you know, himself and just there was even a point in the anime where he did the body flicker so crazy, like so fast, to where he was creating after images, and his after images had like a solid mat. Well, they didn't have mass, but they were able to initiate physical contact, and it was just because of how fast he was moving. Where there was just multiple variants of him, and he was just fucking people up, and you couldn't hit him. It's like fighting against a ghost that can beat your ass, but you can't hit them back because you just go through. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. It was like an insane body flicker, but definitely agree.
People use like Shisui because of, you know, the moniker Shisui and body flicker.
Yep.
And there are definitely ninja who are more talented with body flicker than others, right? Like again, Shisui or the Raikage or Minato. It also gets even more confusing if you read the manga too, because in like the Viz translation, it's referred to as teleportation a lot.
See?
They talk about Minato's skill with body flicker, but they say teleportation. So that, like it sounds like they're talking about flying right, but no, this is like a universal skill. The data book lists the users as Gaara, Kakashi, and then et al. You know, to say like pretty much everyone. So everyone can use it, but if Lee can't use ninjutsu, then he probably shouldn't be able to use it either. Now the thing about this that's weird is Lee isn't listed with a 0 stat in ninjutsu.
It's
In the data book.
0.5.
So it's possible that he can use body flicker. In which case, this next point doesn't matter. But if he can't, then
I'm sorry, but Lee's the type of guy that just looks like a goofball, bro. Like, he's the guy that you feel bad for and you see him in school and everybody starts just roasting his shit.
Suddenly, like if we give him the ability to use ninjutsu and then he's able to learn body flicker, this is like an enormous help for him. Because everybody else in the series that we know of should be able to use it. Guy is a ninjutsu user because he can summon the turtle, so even he should be able to use body flicker. So like the fact that Lee is able to move at the same level, generally speaking anyway, as people like this with no body flicker to assist him is insanely impressive. And like if you gave him this massive speed amp, like I mean, I think that, I don't know if it'd make him like the fastest top 1 character in the series, but it'd do a lot for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you so much faster that you appear to be almost teleporting, right?
Yeah, to like regular people.
That's like the whole gimmick about it.
Yep.
So it's like a insanely massive, like.
Pre-order now.
Lee was the embodiment and definition of what actual speed blitzes are. And yes, that's a jab back at fucking noodles, okay? AKA the ramen pack, okay? Or the ramen lord, rat god, I don't know, okay? Lee was literally the definition of what speed is.
Or speed in short, you know, burst or whatever. So, if he was able to use, say, like a body flicker alongside like a powerful like enhancement jutsu, such as like a Rasengan or whatever you want, even with the gates, imagine he could just like move so fast he like teleports ×2 with like a gate, like because he was already teleporting in Gaara anyway, so he's doing it twice as fast in that state. Like I don't know, that would just be like next level stuff for the Chunin exam. So
And people already think Lee like blitzed Edo Madara. Remember on top of the Jubi.
Yeah, when he-
Yeah, but he had Naruto's chakra though, so that's not really necessarily. We don't know for sure if he could be able to pull that same feat off with just the 6th gate. You know what I mean, or 5th gate. I don't know, whatever.
I forgot
So
about that.
then like super mega speed blitz Edo Madara with body flicker, and he was in base then. Well, he had the QB clip on, but no gates. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit late to address this in the video, by the way. But one thing I would like to mention, a lot of people, like I've seen this question asked elsewhere, and if you Google like what if Rock Lee could use ninjutsu, you're bound to run into this response as well. A lot of people are under the impression that if he could, he would actually get weaker because his drive to train would like this.
Yeah.
And I guess that's maybe a sort of valid perspective.
Maybe like it's understandable, but I feel like that's a little bit of a downplay for Lee, if anything, because Lee's whole thing is hard work will be the way to surpass a genius. That there's two types of people. This is just how it is in our real world. You have someone that doesn't really have any talent or any skills, whatever, and has to bust his ass just to either be good enough or surpass someone. And then you have someone that is just a beast, just raw talent or a natural athlete or whatever. It's always that type of fucking scenario in life, in anything. You know what I mean? So like, even if he had ninjutsu, okay, I don't think that would still take away from him accomplishing the level of feats that he did with taijutsu and whatnot, because he's still going to have that drive and that initiative and that rivalry that he has with like Neji, Sasuke, Naruto, etc. And all because he has ninjutsu doesn't mean necessarily like he would focus more on the ninjutsu side of things. Instead, he would still focus on the taijutsu side of things because he's really, really, really good with that. Like, I mean, really good, like a natural genius, like to the point where even Kakashi was fucking sweating. Like you can even see in that picture, freaking out like there's no way someone at his level could be able to master all 5 gates. Is he real? He's a genius after all. Like he's no fucking joke. You know what I mean? Like basically saying that Lee pulled off something that's just really not common at all and very rare, It's why taijutsu specialists are so rare to begin with, you know what I mean? And, like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's definitely arguable. It's understandable and it makes sense, but I would say it would do the opposite. I would say he would, still perform and excel way more in taijutsu because that's what he's actually naturally talented in. Like, it was even to the point where Neji, who's a fucking genius and knows the gentle fist, you name it, could not master the Lotus technique that guy was trying to teach Neji, Tenten, and Lee. And Lee was the only one that could end up mastering it and being able to utilize the first gate, That alone shows, you know what I mean? Like, so he was a beast regardless, you know what I mean? Like, so with ninjutsu added, I feel like that would instead give him more of a drive to do even better because he's a fucking freak when it comes to training and working hard. Like, he's crazy, him and Guy are ridiculous. And to the point where, like, he'll do really well with ninjutsu as well. He'll know a good amount, whatever. And he would figure out some freaking crazy way to incorporate that with the gates. Like, bro, if he's able to master gates, which is something that is considered very rare or very, very hard to do. Not even Kakashi could go further, or all these other geniuses. You got Minato, you name it. Hashirama, Madara, like, fucking, like, you're talking about these type of people that are tremendously intelligent. Even Itachi, for God's sake. And they couldn't do the goddamn gates, but Lee could do that? You know what I mean? That's a big fucking deal. So he's going to be perfectly fine in the taijutsu department. But when it comes to ninjutsu, that's where he'll be like probably moderate or average, where that is where he'll really have to put in the hard work and really shine. And Naruto is a fucking prime example. He's not smart. Like, he's combat smart in a way, but like in a very unique way. But when it comes to intelligence, like Minato, Kakashi, etc., he ain't like that. Okay, Naruto is not like that. You know what I mean? Like, so. And, if Naruto is able to master Rasengan and all this other shit, Shadow Clones, you name it, There's no way you ain't fucking telling me Lee can't be able to master certain levels of high-class ninjutsu or forbidden techniques and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Obviously, he ain't gonna be pulling fucking the Rising Shuriken because Naruto was only able to do that because he just had such a massive, enormous amount of chakra and stamina due to the Nine Tails and his, chakra pull being the reincarnation of Ashura. But either way, like, he's gonna be able to learn other things. It's definitely believable he could learn Flying Raijin. Definitely believable that he could learn Shidori if he just trains under Kakashi. Why would he not be able to do it? You know what I mean? Like, if he just went up to Kakashi and said, hey, I want to get stronger. Yeah, I got the gates, blah, blah, but I really need something that can help it and I can incorporate with my gates. Can you kind of help me out? And there you go. He learns the Shidori. Like, there's ways. If there's a will, there's a fucking way. It's Rock Lee. So I'll just put that out. Like, if he's going to go the direction and really say that this would backfire and fuck Lee up or be actually bad, I don't know about all that. Yeah, exactly, Rick. Basically.
We know Lee trained very, very hard at the...
Okay, so Swag disagrees. I should have just let him fucking talk before giving that hour-long fucking paragraph.
At some point when he thought he could still use ninjutsu, because there's like a flashback of him trying rigorously to learn how to use the clone jutsu so that he can pass the graduation exam. Whether he ever actually learned it or not, I don't know. It doesn't seem like he did, because it's not like Guy says he can't use ninjutsu except for the clone jutsu. He learned that so he could pass the graduation. Like, he doesn't say that. He just blanket says Lee can't use ninjutsu. But I mean, even if you take that flashback out of the equation, I just feel like it's not like Lee only started training super hard after he learned he couldn't use ninjutsu, because he had to have learned by trying to use ninjutsu or learn it.
Welcome back to the stream. I don't know if that's you, Brooke. Did you come back? Where the fuck you go? You just left.
He's just a hard worker in general, kind of like Naruto is, where just like...
He's a hard fucking worker, bro. This man is no joke. This motherfucker won't stop. Bro, deadass, Rock Lee's will, if anything, technically this motherfucker has the best willpower, best endurance feats out of any fucking Naruto, hands down. Even greater than Madara, Hashirama, you name it. You wanna know why? This motherfucker tore up all his bones and muscles, millions of stress fractures, you name it, okay, completely drained and exhausted, and had half of his entire fucking body crushed, okay, completely broken by Gaara. And this motherfucker wanted to prove his ninja ways so bad that he still was able to get up after all that damage while he was unconscious. If that alone doesn't really show you how motivated this fucking guy is, come on, bro. Like, if he puts his mind to it, he's gonna accomplish whatever the fuck he wants. Like, it's Rock Lee.
I mean, maybe you could, like, fluff it up to be, since they're considered, like, lesser.
And yes, even at the hospital, exactly, the motherfucker's doing one-hand push-ups while his entire body is in complete shambles.
Harder to compensate or something, but from the looks of it, even when, like, Rock Lee learned, say, the gate release and no one else could on his team, he still trained, like, extremely hard regardless. So, yeah. I don't know, it does seem like there's something inside of Lee that really wants to, like, work hard, and he's, like, really interested. Even, like, when he was first introduced to at least, like, in anime and stuff like that, when we see him as a kid before he really becomes, like, a genin and gets bullied for not learning ninjutsu, he has that fiery spirit even before.
That's so weird.
Gets into it, so he just
Bro, I gotta call that out. What is that? There's, like, these weird little orange like, rectangular bars. Excuse me, like, that's so weird.
That would just want to train on some Bruce Lee energy,
Yeah, I mean, he even does it whenever he has the broken legs. Remember they have to stop him when he's in the hospital because he's trying to train and he's just not supposed to be moving. So it is just like a personality trait Lee has. Like, he just works hard. That's just him.
Well, I mean, we can just go over some examples if he had ninjutsu. So, I mean, I don't think he would ever be able to use Chidori, just in the sense that the Chidori seems to be a technique that amplifies your speed to the point where, like, you need a Sharingan to see almost your own movements.
Not really, because with Sasuke, he was only able to use Chidori because he obtained weightless Lee's speed. It's literally stated verbatim. Kakashi literally told Sasuke, in order for you to use Chidori, you need to acquire a certain level of speed first. So technically, you have to acquire a certain level of speed, and the second requirement is to have some type of dojutsu or eye that allows you to perceive and have precognition. Meaning you would either need the Byakugan, the Sharingan, or Sage Mode in order to utilize Chidori. If you don't have Sage Mode or the Byakugan or Sharingan, it is a very, very risky jutsu to use, and is literally considered incomplete by aka Minato, one of the goats. Okay? Unless you have like crazy level of speed, like with like let's say you're a gate user, then that technically would compensate for that weakness. Because if you're just drastically more faster than someone, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So at that point, like, yes and no. So I don't know where he's going all on about that. Literally with the Chidori, Sasuke had to obtain a level of speed. Now, yes, the Chidori can amplify your speed. Now, I'm going to be real with you. Unless you fucking know something I don't know about, and I would probably have to go through the manga or maybe the data books or maybe even watch through the anime again. I don't know. But to what extent does Chidori really amplify your speed towards? We really don't know. You can't really quantify. We know it can make you faster, okay? Like, but it's just like, give me one fucking statement that actually says how fast Chidori makes you or amplifies your speed. There really isn't. We have that for the gates, for Sage Mode, and so on and so forth. But I'm telling you right now, I've read the manga twice. I've seen the anime 3 fucking times. I don't remember a single thing where it ever says that the Chidori amplifies your speed to X, Y, and Z amount. Okay? You can kind of get some narrative or maybe some context that it does. It's lightning, you know what I mean? Most lightning jutsus, you know, enhanced speed, so on and so forth, etc. Or, you know, penetration, you know. But I'm just being real. So, like, let me know down in the comments below what data book there is or whatever, something, maybe it's something I'm just forgetting or missing. But to my knowledge, I don't really recall that. You know, so I'm just saying, there's that, you know, the only thing that we really have when it comes to Chidori, from my memory alone, okay, once again, I'm just spitballing here, I go off of memory, etc., okay, is when Kakashi first developed the technique, he was trying to add nature, you know, his lightning nature to the Rasengan, and he ended up creating Chidori, Raikiri instead, or Chidori, okay, that's how he ended up with the jutsu. And when he ended up using that jutsu, he went to use it, and he basically is crazy fucking fast, you know what I mean? And there's a whole thing about that. So, unless, like, at that moment, that's where it's stated that Chidori makes you faster, then great. You know what I mean? Whatever. But then again, once again, to what extent? You can't quantify it. That's the problem. You know what I mean? And if that wasn't the case, and there was nothing even really explained at all when Kakashi's used it, I know there is some elaboration when Kakashi uses the technique. That's when we first get to see it, you know? But, you know, it's either that, or since Kakashi already acquired the level of speed needed to use that technique, that's why he used the technique. And then it's perfectly reasonable to say that Chidori would obviously make him more faster. But how much? We don't know. Is it just a little bit? Maybe. Is it moderate amount? Maybe. Is it a ridiculous amount? Maybe. We don't fucking know. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Whether you guys are going to get pissed off at me talking shit about Chidori or not, I'm not trying to shit talk it. I'm just being real with you. I'm being blatantly honest, you know? So I'm not the guy to fucking come out with crazy wanks or be ridiculous, so on and so forth. No. If there's no evidence for it, so on and so forth, etc., then, you know, it is what it is. Like, to stop. So I disagree with that point.
And this is like really, as weird as it sounds, it's not really strength dependent because it seems to amp your speed, the user speed, to the point where they can barely see it. So even Kakashi, when he's becoming Hokage, like...
And then Seth literally just debunked himself, like, just now. Like, he literally just showed the scan, one of the scans that are important to what I was explaining. Guy literally, like, if you look at the scans before, there's context to it. Okay, guy's literally to the point like, why, you know, is he an idiot? Like, why did he just give, you know, Sasuke weightless level speed? You know what I mean? Like, did he not see even Lee with the fucking 5th gate? That wasn't even enough, so on and so forth, etc. Like, what's his plan? What's his end game, you know? Then Sasuke whips out Chidori, and then guy's like, that makes sense. Okay, now I see why you made him, force him to obtain that level of speed. You know what I mean? Or increased his speed. It's not saying that Chidori increased his speed. What it was saying is that he had to acquire that level of speed in order to use Chidori. Like, Deadass, how about this? I'll do you guys even one better. Because if you probably think I'm capping, or think I'm fucking losing my mind or marbles and bullshitting, let me show you. Deadass. Give me one moment. Hang on. We'll come right back to that shit. So, we're going to go over here real quick, and then we will go... I always forget that it's in my fucking mobile bookmarks. I don't know why. Alright, I'm going to go here and do this really quick. And then I'll make sure to do a time skip edit for this. I think it was 64? Am I capping? Am I capping? Or am I way off? Okay, I am the capping. It's nowhere near there. Okay, we're getting there, but okay, we're still not there. We're almost there. Excuse the weird ass fucking nudity things. Like, it doesn't show like nakedness, but there's some weird shit that comes up on this page sometimes. All right, here we go. Here we go. I need to remember this. 109. Just fucking remember that. 109. Okay, so we're gonna get here. I'm gonna bring it over. All this is irrelevant. So we're gonna look over it, and we're eventually gonna be doing a Rock Lee versus Sasuke video too. So this is actually kind of important to cover. But we're gonna go here, and he's like, "Here I come, throw some shuriken," right? And then from here, after the shuriken, Gar reacts, does that. Then he's moving at normal speed. He's fighting, whatever. You know, doing his thing, being a badass, and then, you know, breaks it, and he goes, and then Gar goes to, like, use his sand, and then that's when he's like, okay, bet, and that's when he starts using his speed, you know what I mean, and to where he's doing it, he's, like, fast, just like him, aka referring to Rock Lee, and then bam, beats his ass. Okay, this is Rock Lee, like, you know what I mean, when he's, like, weightless after he moves, like, his weights, he's, like, he's quick, he's almost as fast as Lee's average speed, okay, and then that's that. And he's like, his stance matches my taiji damage, blah, blah. Which he was able to do that because of the shotting gun. And then as it goes, and he continues to fight using the speed. He starts bullying Gar's ass, is beating his ass. And then basically from here, Gar gets back up. And then he moves even more faster. And now he's like, that's practically the same speed as Lee without his weights. Stated verbatim. Even Sakura's like, even the speed is a lot greater than before. Okay. Then he starts beating his ass even more, you know, whatever. Gar is getting his ass beat, you know, armor. Now he's being pressured exactly like what happened with Lee. And then from here, then, you know, Sasuke's being a little jealous. He's like, it took me years to achieve that level of speed, but you attained it in just 1 month. He's like, however, maintaining that speed still expends quite a lot of energy, doesn't it? And then Kakashi's, you know, whatever. And then he's talking about how really bad it is whenever Gar is pushed to this point. It's like he's kind of like at, you know, playing chess at that point. It's almost checkmate. And then guys like, exactly what kind of training did you put him through to hone him to that extent in just 1 month? Like, he was curious, like, how the fuck did you give him that speed in just 1 month when it took Lee years? That's ridiculous. Guy actually did it, like, with hard work alone, like physical, blunt, crazy-ass training. While Kakashi does this. He's like, Sasuke mimicked Lee's taijutsu using the Sharingan once before. So during his taijutsu training, I just had him visualize Lee's movements. Which is really weird because somehow, some way, from him visualizing Lee's movements, that just increased the level of time to now have that level of speed in just a month. As weird as it sounds, but that is why it happened. So, you know, he's like, because Sasuke knew Lee, he was able to master those moves. Of course, it was still extremely difficult, you know. So obviously, Sasuke's also training, you know, physical endurance, you name it, and, you know, doing the physical aspects to get stronger and faster too. But with him knowing Lee and using his Sharingan and fighting him before, he was able to basically utilize the level of speed and just obtain it and grasp it instantly, a lot quicker because Sharingan. You know what I mean? Whatever, you know. So that's that. And then he's like, but if that's it, you can't defeat that Senna Shinobu Taijutsu alone. And this is when guys like, yeah, you know, you should know that even Lee wasn't able to beat him. So he's like, why did he do that? Why did he have Sasuke hone just his Taijutsu? You're about to fucking find out. So then it goes from here. And then basically from here, then he's like, all right, he's like, it's no good. It's just I figured. He's like, he shut himself aside. I don't know what he's up to, but it's fine by me. This thing of mine, it's going to take time too, meaning that it's going to take him a bit to be able to release Chidori. Which a lot of people actually forget that when he first has the jutsu, he can't just immediately whip it out. Okay, it actually would take some time in the beginning until eventually he fights Gaara a second time in his like V1 state, and then he's able to use it 3 times instantaneously. So, but let's go here, and then basically he goes up, does that. And he's like, and guys, like, don't tell me that. So he's like, this is the reason why I took him. He's very similar to me. Okay. And then he's like, I see. So that's why you had him focus on taijutsu and increased his speed so much. Literally stated, like right there alone, like that's why. So meaning he needed that level of speed to be able to utilize Chidori. That's simple. Wasn't because Chidori was just miraculously giving him that speed now. Whatever. Or that Chidori gave him this speed. Like, Seth was literally coming out here using this scan and saying Chidori increased his speed so much. That's not true. If you look before, like I just showed you guys, and look at the context, that's not the case at all. So, I just wanted to show you that I ain't bullshitting. And we're going to get back to what we need to get to. But just wanted to kind of show you guys that, and let's get back to it. Alrighty.
Makes him move so fast. He's like, I need something else. He makes, the purple shinded lightning or whatever to compensate for it. So Lee probably isn't using the Chidori against Gaara. He's not gonna
disagree against that. He could definitely learn Chidori. Shit, bro. If Sasuke can fucking do it with Kakashi, he can do it too. Okay, I already talked about Lee, his hard work, his character. You name it, yada yada. He could easily learn that technique. That is very believable for him. If anything, that would be one technique that would be very beneficial for him. Chidori, Flying Raijin, even 100 healings, that would be extremely beneficial for him. And if anything, I actually think it would be possible for Lee to learn the 100 healings like Tsunade and Sakura because he has such incredible chakra control. He has so many feats displaying ridiculous level of chakra control. So that would be a high possibility he can do. And if that motherfucker learns hundreds healing, bro, what do? You know what I mean? Like, that's just insane. Okay, so like that could be a thing. I'm trying to think. Sage mode is a big if. I don't know if he could be able to pull off Sage mode. I really don't know. I don't know because Naruto was able to do it, and he's an idiot. You know what I mean? And he just worked hard, and he was able to eventually pull it off. But then again, he kind of had the motivation of wanting to avenge his sensei that was killed, and the motivation to surpass Jiraiya, you know what I mean, and whatnot, and also wanted to become the Hokage, so maybe that's why he was able to obtain and eventually master Sage Mode. So if to say Rock Lee could be able to master or learn it, I don't know. I feel like it is possible for him to probably be able to do it. I don't see why not. You know what I mean? Like, he has the work ethic, the drive, and he's a very, very talented ninja. You know what I mean? If he could do the gates, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do Sage Mode too. You know what I mean? So it definitely is a high possibility he could. I want to say 100% guaranteed, but yes. But Chidori? Abso-fucking-lutely, bro. Come on. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Just like pull the Sasuke 2.0, but better or something. But, things like Rasengan, Sage Jutsu, Shadow Clones, all of that is extremely possible. So I don't know who's going to that.
So he at least agrees with that, which, once again, that would be insane. Imagine a Sage Mode Gates user, bro. Like, better yet, does Sage Mode's durability amp increase, like, just amp you so much for durability where the gates are kind of redundant, you know what I mean, and don't really fuck you up that much? Could that be a possibility? Because I know there's no way to train your internal organs. It's literally stated verbatim. Like, there's no way to train and develop and make and strengthen things inside your body. Only the outside, and so on and so forth. And utilize chakra to increase or help with those things that normally a human being can't do. So, I don't know. Would that really be a thing? Like, would Sage Mode just, like, help with the after effects of what the gates do to you? Because if that helps too, that's even more of a fucking plus. You know what I mean? And, God, he would be a monster with Sage Mode, dude. I can imagine this man going to Sage Mode, using the 6th gate, doing a massive fucking Rising Dawn and just slamming that shit, bro. Like, oh my God. Like, or better yet, like a massive Sage Mode Rising primary Lotus Rising God or something. Like, that shit would be crazy, dude.
So, like, I mean,
a turtle that can chase Kisame across an island, you know, like spinning through the air like Master Roshi or something. So,
like I said at the beginning of the video, anything that just requires like a brute force approach to the training, just like dumping a ton of chakra into it until you finally get it right, it definitely seems like it's up his alley because that's his sort of training style, right? Like, I'll just kick this tree 10,000 times until my leg is way stronger. He just does like monotonous.
That is a good point, but then again though, Rek, wasn't it that he received damage because he was doing a close range attack? You know what I mean? So he was getting like the recoil and a little bit of the damage because he was getting in, you know, close to initiate contact. You know what I mean? To where with Sage Mode, not only does it increase your durability, etc., but he was able to throw it and be away from the explosion. You know what I mean? So that's a good point, but it's debatable. You know what I mean? So, but I feel you though. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I really do feel like Sage Mode could definitely be able to help with the side effects of the 6th and 7th gate. Absolutely. Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, just from him using it alone, then absolutely. Then yeah, that's enough proof to definitely infer that could help, with negative effects of using certain ninjutsus or forbidden jutsus. You know what I mean? But if it's not, and if my memory is correct, which that is basically all talked about after the Kakasu thing, and Tsunade it literally explains all of it basically to Kakashi, and I think Jiraiya was there too. It was either Kakashi or both of them. But if I am correct from my memory, I think it was only because he was in the blast radius. You know what I mean? Like he was up close, but I could be wrong. I would have to look back.
Like rigorous physical exercise. So anything that would that he could learn through like repetition, I think that he'd be able to pick up on. And I think that he would actually learn them at the very least more quickly than the average person would, based on what we're told about him. There are
for sure.
Separate.
Definitely would learn probably way faster than Naruto, for sure.
Being a genius. So
hey, it's me, your skin. Help me.
the first one is he is called a genius of hard work. I think it was Guy that said this, right?
It was Guy.
Yeah.
The guy says that.
Kind of like a nebulous statement. I guess it just means that Lee is really good.
I say that's the weakest statement to use, if I'm being honest with you. It's a good statement, don't get me wrong. It proves towards what they're, arguing for, but there's even a better one. It's when Kakashi fucking states it. Literally, a genius himself is, like, shitting his pants of Lee going to use the fucking 4th gate. Not the 5th, but going to the 4th gate after the 3rd. Because Kakashi's like, all right, he'll make his move now. And then no. And then Guy's like, no. And he's like, huh, what? You know what I mean? And he's like, what a guy, like this level of effort, like there's not a single getting that could ever be able to obtain. This is like unrealistic, impossible. Like, is he truly a genius after all? You know what I mean? Or he really is a genius after all. You know what I mean? Saying something like that. Like, I can't word it like quote word by word, but it was within that context and line of words. And if Kakashi is saying something like that, that kind of goes to fucking show how crazy this man is. And even without those statements, just him learning the gates alone is insane. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, it's a crazy ability. It is no fucking joke. If it was really that easy to do, everybody be using the fucking gates then. You know what I mean? And be doing some insane shit. And incorporating their ninjutsu with it as well. Like, imagine Orochimaru with the fucking gates. Bro, you're talking... Alright, this is a perfect example. You're talking about a guy that literally his whole goal is to learn every single fucking ninjutsu and just be broken, right? To learn, know it all, right? All knowledge, you name it. You don't think Orochimaru didn't probably really, really fucking try to figure out how to use the gates? Come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, damn well he tried, and that motherfucker couldn't do it. So, overall, like, Lee's no joke. He's very smart.
Like, taking himself into gear and, like, learning. But, the relevant one that I was getting into here was he is actually just called a genius, like, in terms of his raw talent, like Kakashi. Not just at working hard, but actually the statement implies the exact opposite.
Yep, so the boy's a genius after all. Like, yeah, right there. I love it. Thank you. That feat should be impossible to achieve through hard work alone, so the boy's a genius after all. Meaning proving that not even hard work alone would be enough, which makes sense. Orochimaru would be a perfect example of having to use hard work, and everything. And he's also a genius, but, he uses hard work right, couldn't do it. Naruto's a perfect example. If it was that easy, don't you think Naruto would have fucking learned the gates? Better yet, even Guy went up to Naruto and said, you would actually be a really good under my wing to train, blah, blah. Here's also a fucking suit. Wear that. It makes you strong, blah, blah. Like, Guy even saw something within Naruto. Like, but yet Naruto wasn't able to do it. Like, I'm telling you right now, if it was that simple, it would have been used a lot. It would have been shown. It's not. You know what I mean? And right there alone, that goes to show that's all the proof you fucking need. If you at least want statements, even though there's plenty of actual, feats and evidence too.
When Kakashi learns that he's capable of opening the 5th gate, he says something along the lines of like, "Oh, a feat like that goes beyond hard work. Like it's not." Like,
Welcome back to the stream, by the way. If that's you, Brooke, you better say something. You over here being slick. I'm about to message you on Snapchat.
He could have just learned that through practice. The kid must
Learning
be a
the games
genius
when no one else could.
Yeah.
Is a great example.
Yeah, Guy actually tried to teach his entire team how to
Yep.
open gates. Neji
I even mentioned that. Woo! See, bro, I'm telling you, I spit, bro. Call me Seth. Call me Swag. Call me Six, bro. I'm telling you, I know my shit. Like, I've been saying all these arguments before, and then they're finally bringing all these arguments in. Like, come on, bro. Come on. I should have made this fucking video, and it probably would have been even better. I'm not trying to be, like, overconfident or prideful or anything, or arrogant, but, like, deadass, like, they're literally saying what I'm saying, but I'm saying it before. And I could even go way more in depth and even really, really make it juicy and a pretty fucking good topic to talk about in a video.
both attempted it, and Lee was the only person who succeeded. Now, we don't know how many.
Are you sure? I see 2 viewers on my end. Unless unless Twitch is just capping. It's Twitch is just being like, fuck you. Let me just make you think you got 2 people.
Gates they were trying to open at the time, but I feel like it makes sense to assume Guy would start with the first gate.
Right, yeah.
Like maybe we're seeing a point afterwards, like maybe Neji and Tenten could open the second, and they were trying to open the third, and that's where they failed or whatever. But I feel
Yeah, like dead ass. It says 2 on my end. So I don't know. That is weird. If you maybe like refresh it or join right back, you might be able to see it. But I don't know.
I feel like the most reasonable assumption to make here is that they were trying to open the first gate, and Lee was the only one who could. Neji and Tenten couldn't open up any of them.
And Neji's a genius. That alone says something. That's a feat itself.
And then Lee makes it all the way up to gate number 5. And we can also assume that this was in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, see?
The 5 gates.
But they're not saying anything though, so I don't know who's the second person.
They look very different in this flashback. Like, there's a very clear visual difference between young Lee and Chunin exams Lee. And now Tenten not being able to open the gates, like whatever, that kind of makes sense. But Neji is almost strictly a taijutsu user.
Yep. So you would think he could at least be able to learn the first gate, and not even Neji could do it? A taijutsu specialist in his own unique way, the Byakugan, so super intelligent, a genius, you name it, and he couldn't do it? Like, bro, that's fucking crazy.
Rotation, and I guess the Byakugan, if you count that. But that's, like, pretty much it.
Even then, you gotta remember they have Guy trying to teach them these things. And many years later, so, Jonin, Neji, Chunin, Tenten that can use the 6 paths tools, super genius Neji,
Yep.
They still can't use the gates from what we know of. And the data book says they can't use them either. And here's Lee going on to the 6th gate. So, Kakashi being like, hey, he's got a little bit more than just hard work going on. There's probably a reason for that statement. So, I mean, when it comes to other jutsu as well, he'd probably be able to master them a lot more. Now, if he was to do something like Rasengan or things like that, now the actual type that he could use is more debatable. Like, for instance, using a massive or a giant Rasengan, Jiraiya chalked that up to, okay, we'll use the Nine Tails Naruto, or...
Not really, because Jiraiya is another example. He was able to do massive Rasengan. Minato was able to do massive Rasengan, you know what I mean? So, and that's with their chakra pull alone, so I disagree with that.
Learning Rasen Shuriken, it was because Naruto could make like 1,000 clones to just chill and cut leaves all day.
That I do agree with. The Rasen Shuriken, like... Minato couldn't fucking do it, and that motherfucker was a genius and had a crazy amount of chakra. Okay, Kakashi couldn't do it, but yeah, he has shit stamina and chakra, to be honest. They couldn't fucking do it. Jiraiya probably even tried. He couldn't fucking do it. Okay, better yet, that motherfucker couldn't even get a perfect Sage mode. And then this guy, because of him being able to summon so many shadow clones, and that just speeds up the process of training. Like, imagine being able to do that in real life. You could just summon so many shadow clones, and then you can just learn shit tremendously faster. Something that would probably take you 50 years to learn, but you do it in a day. Because you just, you obtain that knowledge, all that repetition, and then bam, bada boom. You know what I mean? It goes a long fucking way. So yeah, definitely agree with that. I don't think Rock Lee's learning the fucking Rising Shuriken. You know what I mean? I really don't think so. And then not only that, we don't even know what his fucking nature would be if he even had, a nature, an element. What the fuck would it be? I know, Naruto had his wind because it was something to do with his hair being a certain way. It was literally a fucking fact. Naruto was wind nature because his hair went in a certain direction or whatever. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. That's why he's wind? So, unless you're able to prove that Rock Lee's hair, whatever, is similar to Naruto, then maybe he'd be a wind, whatever. But even still, even if he was a wind nature, ninja... yeah, he could probably be able to do other things like Asuma, Rasengan, you name it, or other crazy wind techniques. But Rasengan, Shuriken, that's a fucking stretch, bro. Rock Lee would have to, for one, learn Shadow Clones, which he could definitely be able to do that. I could see him learning that. And two, he's not summoning nowhere near as much as Naruto did. You know what I mean? Naruto has crazy amount of fucking chakra pool and stamina. Lee could probably be able to summon, maybe a good bit of clones, whatever, to do this to help and speed up the process. And there you go. But it's Naruto was able to do it in that short period of time. Lee's not replicating that. It probably would take him a little bit more longer, or maybe even a couple years to learn it, if that makes sense. If you want to be generous to Lee. But it's safe to at least assume and say that it's more than likely something he would not be learning or relying on, or most definitely obtaining. Let's put it that way.
Which Lee probably couldn't do, but, I guess Lee used...
Bruh, what you mean? You mean him get Hashirama cells from what Danzo did just to amp his stamina and chakra?
Any jutsu with
that is one way.
Just massively amplified. So imagine he...
Or better yet, actually I just thought of something. Technically, if Lee was to use the gates, especially the second gate that gives you more stamina and everything, and you're releasing your limiters, which we do know when you release your limiters, you gain more access to your massive amount of chakra you have, okay? And then could be able to, become more powerful. If the more his limiters are released, wouldn't that mean the more chakra he has, and you name it, and he's also getting more stamina because of the gates, and then to the point where he could just summon a shit ton of shadow clones? Let's say he goes to the 5th gate or 6th gate, right? And now, because he used that gate, he had a ridiculous amount of chakra and power, and he just used all that chakra, not all of it, but most of it, to summon a shit ton of shadow clones. You know what I mean? Kind of similar to when Naruto gets his mental amps and dives more in with his chakra, his chakra amount, and and uses good chakra control, and just his chakra alone, and summons a crazy amount of shadow clones. Or better yet, when he uses a certain portion of the Nine Tails chakra and is over here summoning Gambunta or doing crazy amount of shadow clones as well. You could argue Lee could probably be able to pull something like that. You know what I mean? So, and there you go, but I don't know,
Actually just used a jutsu instead of just randomly just trying to punch down on Gaara when he used the 4th and 5th gate. And Gaara probably wouldn't get up. He'd probably do a little bit more than to brush himself off and then teleport away. So that's what we believe. And it'd be interesting to see him actually kind of get to the Chunin exams finals and then scrap with Neji, because apparently Lee with the third gate or something was considered like a heavy match or counter, or was on the verge of already defeating Neji, and then like 4 or 5 was like beyond Lee's body limits and he was ripping him apart. But so the fact that like the third gate was gonna possibly contend with Neji, it kind of shows you like, wow, if this kid could just do anything else, like Neji just absolutely stands no chance at all.
I don't think that like Neji would be able to fight like 12 Lees, like if Lee could use the Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Bruh.
Clone gates.
Yeah. So I think the messed up thing about like Shadow Clone gates.
And not only that, like just some I think SWAGKAGE is about to say what I said before. Bro, if SWAGKAGE says what I literally just said in the beginning of this video, I swear to God, I give up. Like, dead ass, title of the video, call me SWAGKAGE, Set the Programmer, and 6. I'm a fucking genius. Like, bro, like, if he's about to say what I think he's about to say, I swear to God, I'm gonna lose it. But, bro, just, better yet, Lee himself doesn't even have to use the gates. He could just do Shadow Clones, they go all out, use the gates, do all the work for him, then they come back, give him all the knowledge he needs that, you know, that you can obtain from using Shadow Clones, and then if he really needs to, then he can go into gates. Like, that's insane, because he's not dealing with the negative repercussions of using the gates. They only are dealing with it. Like, that'd be insane.
He probably wouldn't suffer the, like, you know, negative effects of the gates if his clones used them, right? Like, he wouldn't suffer any of the injuries.
What I say? What I say? What I say, baby? What I say, bro? I fucking called that shit. What I say? Yeah, title of the video, call me SWAGKAGE, Seth the Programmer in 6. I'm a freaking genius, bro. I could have made this video for it, bro. If they asked me to make this video, I could have made this fucking video and literally said the same exact arguments and evidence and shit. Dead ass. I haven't even seen this video. I swear to God. I don't have any way to prove that. But I swear to God, like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Oh my God, I fucking called it, bro. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, whether you think it or not, I feel like my intelligence is underrated when it comes to fucking Naruto.
Like,
no, he would because Naruto gets the like fatigue of his clones.
I don't know about that because I mean of the war arc, but I mean he definitely like it does use your
Yeah, 6 is capping. What the fuck are you on about? Fatigue of what are you talking about? That's not the case. Like it's never stated ever. Like unless to my knowledge, I don't remember. I would have to look through. But I don't ever recall anything being stated verbatim that the Shadow Clones that you feel the exact effects that whatever they felt when they come back to you. What is stated is when your Shadow Clones go away, that they give you all the knowledge that they just learned to increase your intelligence or experience, or better yet, to give you a severe strategy advantage when it comes to fighting an opponent, because you're able to gain intel and more of an analysis, if that makes sense. That is stated. So, if anything, it's more stated with the Shadow Clones having a lot more pros than really any cons. The only cons that I do remember exactly when it comes to Shadow Clones is that it can kind of fuck with your stamina and chakra reserves in a certain way. I don't remember exactly, but in a way, it kind of sucks. It, you know, or better yet, I think it was stated like to where it can backfire or handicap you if you don't do it the right way. That it's risky. You know what I mean? So that's about it. So yeah, 6 is capping on that. I don't know what the fuck he's on about, but that's why Seth the Programmer immediately disagreed and said, I don't know about that, you know, blah, because he's like, when he's doing all the fucking clones in the war arc, they didn't make him more tired, they didn't make him more fatigued. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want about, bro? So that kind of debunks what 6 was saying. So I'm glad Seth said something. And even SWAGKAGE is saying, like, yeah, it would make sense for him to not have to deal with those drawbacks and et cetera and negative cons. So it's two against one, 3 against 1, 6. Shut your bitch ass up. Don't ruin the moment. I love you, 6, but don't ruin it.
Yeah, you have to use up your chakra, but I don't know if like Lee's clone got its like muscle ripped. If Lee's muscle would get ripped, because then like whenever Naruto's like clone got like stabbed through the stomach, then like he would have like a huge hole in his stomach.
No, not like that. Not
Like,
like that. That's not what I was saying.
Yeah, like when a clone uses Sage Mode, you know, in the war arc, it's not like when it disappeared, you know, whatever. whatever, or like got damaged or did all this stuff or used all its KCM energy. The main Naruto lost his, you know, like. But I mean, like.
See, that's even more proof. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's definitely not the case at all. There's so much examples. There's so much evidence that would not be the case at all.
Out of all that, you have to think about all the other jutsu that would be available that would just be able to help him. I think, like, story-wise, the only thing that would really change is just kind of part 1.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Lee wouldn't have been Drunken Lee versus Kimimaro. It'd probably just be normal Lee. Gaara probably would have got mopped up in the prelims pretty hard. Maybe he would have went crazy before the finals or whatever you would say from there. But either way, when it get to the finals, maybe they would ruin their plan, like low-key. Maybe they would lose confidence. There's a lot of things you could say story-wise, but Lee isn't really in the story too much for us to, like, make those connections anyway, so I guess that's all there is really to say, unless you want to like headcanon like here he is with flying Raijin.
Right?
I think one thing that actually is somewhat plausible, because he does sort of interact with Tsunade for an extended period of time after the Chunin exams, albeit this is only because of his injuries, which he might not sustain in this, I guess, quote-unquote timeline. If he were to meet Tsunade, I don't think it's outrageous to believe that he might be able to learn, like, maybe not medical ninjutsu, but, like...
The 100 healings, because with the chakra control and enhancements, like, definitely he could be able to do that, bro. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, that would most drastically definitely fit him. If he could do the gates, he could definitely do that.
Yeah, hard jutsu.
Yeah, right, like, Tsunade might be able to teach him how to concentrate.
Because Sakura mainly learned it due to Tsunade. She would have never acquired that on her own. Tsunade did it because she's a fucking badass, a genius, okay? And if Rock Lee obviously went to her and said, hey, can you kind of train me and make me strong or whatever, she would do the whole, you know, evasive strategy for him, never get hit, blah, blah, maybe try to teach him some medical ninjutsu if he can learn it. And then do the 100 healings, which is basically just boils down to chakra control, you know, focus, you know, and you name it. And Lee has plenty of feats, plenty of evidence, statements, and what he's even done alone to where he could definitely be able to do that. If Sakura could fucking do it, he could do it for sure.
Chakra precisely enough.
And that, like I said, that alone would just be insane. Bro, you know what the thing about, imagine this motherfucker with gates, Rasengan, Sage Mode, and 100 healings. What the fuck do you do? like, that's not even fair, bro. Like, that's just insane. That's just fucking insane. Like, just imagine. Like, basically imagine Lee as Naruto instead. The main character, right? Learning Shadow Clones, Rasengan, Sage Mode, and the 100 healings, bro. Just to be like, fuck all of you, you know, yada yada. I'm the best, okay? What do you do? like, bro, hey, I'm telling you right now, bro, like, it'd be crazy. Like, it's basically, think of, like, just like what they were saying, think of, like, as what Naruto was able to do and accomplish just with hard work alone, they could be able to more likely replicate the same, you know what I mean? Like, that's it. It's very, very believable and very possible. So this motherfucker be having Shadow Clones, Gates, obviously, Sage Mode, Rasengan, maybe Raisen Shuriken, but I won't go that far. But definitely Rasengan or Massive Rasengan. Fucking then the 100 healings. Like, that's just fucking insane. And better yet, bro, let's add another thing. Flying Raijin. Why the fuck not? If Minato could fucking learn that shit, which remind you, Tobirama was the one that created it because he was also like a very intelligent shinobi and a genius as well. Minato was a genius and very intelligent. He's like, you know what? That's a really good jutsu. Let me learn that. Why would Rock Lee not maybe want to know something like that could kind of compensate for the drawbacks of the gates and yada yada? Like, let's say everything else is not really planning out for him. Get out of jail free card, Flying Raijin, you know? Bruh, right? like, so like, bro, like, this man would be crazy. Like, he'd be fucking crazy, you know? Or better yet, how about this? Rock Lee turns evil because he was bullied so hard and roasted because of his looks. This motherfucker was bullied and roasted and discriminated in his village, you know, kind of similar to the extent Naruto went through. So fucking much that you know what happens? This motherfucker learns Gates, Sage Mode, Rasengan, Shadow Clones, fucking 100 healings, okay, and then maybe Flying Raijin 2, okay, and then next thing you know, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the Akatsuki. Sees Hit On, yeah, show me your ways. learns fucking Jashin whatever, and now becomes immortal. And basically that, like, bro, at that point, like, I don't know. I don't really know what to fucking tell you, at that point, like, he'd just be a fucking monster. Or better yet, like, imagine if this motherfucker could even use wood style. I mean, now, obviously, wood style is a whole other fucking ballpark. But if he does obtain Hashirama cells, Yamato could do it, Madara could do it, Obito could do it, so why would it be really weird for him not to be able to do it too? That would be pretty fucking crazy. So, I'm just saying, bro, like, I could go all fucking day with so many things that in combination with the gates that could just make him a fucking monster. I really could. Like, bro, imagine like a 1,000-hand Buddha statue like what Yamato did or Hashirama and amplified with the gates as well and you just fucking pound, like fucking 1,000-hand primary lotus, Like, he'd be crazy. I had to spit all this out because the video is about to end. So, we had to come out with a banger at least. Okay? Either way, what I'm trying to say is Rock Lee would be invincible. Give this motherfucker ninjutsu. What the fuck you do? You know what I mean?
Would it just be like a Giga multiplier? It'd
Yeah,
just be
I
like
know.
Tsunade punches with gates or something? Like,
Yeah, and
on
then
top
like
of like
a big old Rasengan. But yeah, thanks Seth and Six for coming down and talking about this very stupid topic.
I hope you guys enjoyed the
What? Stupid? Come on, Swag. That's a little bit disrespectful to my Lee. Why does Lee and Guy get the disrespect? I don't understand. I don't understand this shit.
I think it was.
I might dislike your damn video because you just said that. How dare you, Swag?
It's a cool little thought experiment,
funny.
but it's kind of interesting. So.
I'll probably get hit with copyright from that, even though it's in his fucking video and he doesn't have copyright. Anyways, but go to video, really, really good. Main reason why I'm mainly liking it is because it was like if I was fucking making this video, I guess. That's what it really felt like, dead ass. But hey, really, really good video. Really glad one of the goats finally released some fucking content after 10 fucking years. But hey, that was pretty freaking good, like dead ass. So definitely gonna have a clickbait title. Call me SWAGKAGE, Set the Programmer in 6. I'm a genius. What's it called? So I'll put that in there, and then hopefully everyone can enjoy the reaction vid to that. Have some laughs, you name it. But either way, we're gonna end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what jutsus you think Lee could be able to use in ninjutsu, how far he gets. Let me know how broken or powerful you really think. Is he unbeatable? Is he whatever? I don't know. Fucking let me know. I'm curious. And as always, if you guys are a Naruto fan, you love Naruto content, or just anything in general, gaming, reaction videos, you name it, subscribe, help your brother out. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.